Hey, welcome to another episode of the Midwest Mindset with Paul Tyson. I'm your guy today. So today I am talking about a quick podcast. It's a snowy day, and I got to get outside and push and throw some snow around. So hopefully this day finds you safe at home, maybe spending a little time recovering from this snowmageddon that we're getting here in the Midwest. But today's episode is work hard today for the life that you want tomorrow. So 5 things that we can do so you can do the hard work today up front so that you have the tomorrow that you're looking for, right? So, one of the quotes that starts off with here is, in this world, you're either growing or you're dying. So get in motion and grow. And so I'm a big believer in that, getting up, taking action and moving. But the top 5 here that we have, I'm going to give you the lesson or the tool, and then how to apply it in your life and how I've applied it maybe in my life. So first one on really how I work hard is I play the long game, right? I figured out what my purpose was, what my why is. It is to inspire others to be more self-confident in themselves, physically and mentally, in a number of different ways, right? Whether that's teaching class at Lifetime Fitness, or if that's, doing some of this one-on-one coaching or this podcast. These are the things that inspire me. What is your long-term plan? What are you doing for yourself today to play the long game? So, just reading from this, one of the things that comes up is most people give up working on their dreams when they face the first obstacle, right? We talk about that, where they stop once when they realize that there's no such thing as an overnight success. The majority doesn't accept or want to accept the success of the result of a marathon. Everybody talks about, this is, when you're thinking about running a marathon for the first time, everybody's like, oh, that's impossible. I can never do that. Well, you're already telling yourself that self-fulfilling prophecy of not running it. But ask anybody who's ran one, whether they run one and run 10, or they don't run one again. They didn't think that they were able to do it at one point, and they pushed through that first obstacle and they did it. So play the long game, whatever that goal is, whatever that dream is. What do you want to do? Ask yourself that. A lot of people just aren't even asking themselves that. So play the long game. How do we apply that? So for the number 1, play the long game. How do we apply it? What is your why? Find out what that purpose is. Do a little time, do a little soul searching. Remind yourself of that long-term vision you had when you were a little kid, a little boy, a little girl, right? Focus on that long-term, and you might need to make some short-term sacrifices, right? You might have to make some adjustments, but you'll ensure to create yourself a future that you're proud of if you do this one thing. So patience allows you to go beyond distractions and build a future of your dreams instead of living your entire life as a servant for your everyday routine. So often we feel just kind of stuck doing the same thing each and every day. This is that opportunity. This is that little tool. So use tool 1. Tool 2, avoid analysis paralysis, right? The quote here from Bruce Lee says, if you spend too much time thinking about one thing, you'll never get that thing done. So if you spend too much time thinking about a thing, you'll never get it done. So you've been there, right? I've been there before, where all of a sudden I'm like, should I do this? Should I leave this job? Should I move this? Should I do that? And we can get stuck in that windmill of just not going anywhere, right? One of the things that I did to get myself out of that is I put on social media. I mean, social media can be a nasty thing, and I know there's a lot of drama and things, but it could be used as a good thing too. It could be that little bit of self pressure, or that little bit of accountability. So one of the things I did is 2 years ago, when I was going through this and really kind of figuring out where I wanted to go and how I wanted to get there, one of the tricks that I used from a coach, a mentor of mine, was I put out on social media, I'm Paul Tyson, and I am a mindset coach. And that's really all I put out there. And you'd be amazed how many different people reached out to me, and friends and family and coworkers that reached out. And that's how I started this business. That's how I started where I'm going right now. And you just got to kind of throw yourself out there. So take action. When you find yourself in that analysis paralysis, take action, move forward, do something, put it out on social media, something that you want to do. If it's a little scary, it's a little fearful, that's your indicator that you know that it's something important and it's something that you might want to do. So put yourself out there, take action if you find yourself in that analysis paralysis. So how do we apply that? Do something is almost always better than doing nothing. So once again, take that action. but you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect to your future. You have to have trust. Have to have trust in yourself. So take action. When I said to the Facebook website, and once again, this was on my personal site, so everybody saw it. I'm Paul Tyson. I'm a mindset coach. It really put me out there. There's a lot of people that wanted to second guess, wanted to throw me under the bus and just kind of what are you doing, Paul? Are you taking away from this agenda over here? Are you taking away from this career? No, I didn't know those answers at the time. I do now, but at the time I didn't know those answers. My whole point was just to get it out there, take action, be a little scared of it. And I'm so happy I did, because where I'm at now is just a much better place. So 2, analysis, avoid analysis paralysis. All right, number 3, allow mistakes to be your biggest teacher. This is something we talk about all the time. I have all these books over here that I hand out periodically to friends and family or people I mentor. The obstacle that is in the way becomes the way. The things that are difficult in our lives, a lot of times we avoid them. We go away from them, and rightfully so, right? If it's something that's going to put you in harm's way and danger, that's good, and that's why our mind does that. But what we're referring to here is allow your mistakes, allow your failures. When we fail, that's when we really learn. That's when we grow. Look at any big success story out in Hollywood and some of these. A lot of times they have a great story of how they just crashed and burned and then came back from that. So I'm not saying you have to be that dramatic or that extreme, but this Albert Einstein quote kind of says that anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. When we don't challenge ourselves, when we don't push ourselves to try something new, we stay in that little comfort zone. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is, if you want to see that change, if you have that long-term vision from number 1, you need to do something new. You need to try something new and be afraid to fail, because allowing your mistakes to be your successes in the future, right? So one of the most common reasons why people don't achieve their goals is that they give up too soon. So instead of accepting mistakes and failure, a guide towards success, they interpret small mistakes as a sign to give up, when it's just the opposite. That first obstacle that we talked about in the first tool, playing the long game. As soon as we hit that obstacle, we quit. And we say, gosh, I was going to run a marathon, or I was gonna leave this career and go to this career, but this happened. And we tell ourselves that story, right? Ask yourself this. Have you ever sat back and said to yourself, why is this always happening to me? Or why does this always happen to us? Why is there always drama around us? Well, a lot of times it's because we're not taking the time to learn from those mistakes. We're not looking inward. We're always looking outward when we talk like that. When we speak that way, we're talking as a victim rather than as somebody that's going to take accountability for what you can control, right? So allow that mistake, allow those hiccups to be the catalyst to move you forward, instead of looking at something that's holding you back, as looking as the victim or somebody saying, why does this always happen to me? Okay. So this is how to apply it is just to view this as a wake-up call. A mistake is a wake-up call. Yep, that wasn't working for me. I'll need to go this direction. There's an opportunity there. But this is the key point for applying this, though, is beating yourself up for something that happened in the past is absolute nonsense. The bigger the mistake you made, the bigger the lesson you can learn from it. So whether it's really small or really big mistake that you make, there's an opportunity to learn from that. Mel Robbins talks about this all the time, right? Stop beating yourself up for it and getting into that victim mentality, because you know where that'll lead you, somewhere where you don't want to go. Use that mistake as a catalyst to get you to where you want to go, where you want to be. So that's number 3. Number 4. This sounds just so redundant, but conquer your mornings. With a caveat here. I have a caveat. Tim Ferriss says, if you win the morning, you win the day. I agree with that. I'm a big believer in that. However, my caveat is this. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. in order to do this. I know many friends, many family members that wake up on their own schedule. That, maybe it's 8 o'clock, maybe it's 9 o'clock. I'd say getting into 9 o'clock after, you're getting a little late in the day, but it just conquer your morning, right? Those same people that I'm talking about that might sleep in a little bit further than I do, 3-4 hours longer than I do, still get up and go and make their coffee or their energized drink or whatever that might be. They still go and get their workouts in. I'm not saying it has to be very early. That's what works for me. What I'm saying with the caveat here is conquer your morning. So when you do wake up, when you do decide to turn on that circadian rhythm and open your eyes and look at the sunlight, that's when you can turn it on. That's when you can still make your bed. That's when you still give yourself a high five. That's when you can lay out your exercise clothes and go get that, active moving around, right? The only two things that we want to focus on is making sure that you get hydration and that high five. You give a little bit of gratitude for yourself to start your day. Because I know that if you can do that, you will conquer your mornings. So the only rule for the morning is that whatever makes you feel good and energizes you, whether it's 6 or 60 minutes, whatever that is, do that for yourself in the morning, because that's how you can conquer your morning. So maybe it's a cup of coffee and going for a walk, right? Ryan Holiday talks about that all the time on the Daily Stoic. Talks about his routine is literally to put his 2 boys in the stroller and go for a mile walk down the driveway, pick up the mail and come back a mile back, right? That's what he does. It doesn't have to be an extreme, intense workout. Whatever it is, conquer your morning. Just focus on that morning. So that's number 4. And number 5, the last one here, is treat your body like a temple. And I know we talked about this. It starts off with Oprah's quote here: if you take care of your body, it'll take care of you. And that's so true, right? We see this as we start to age. We see that, it's snowing, it's icy out here in the Midwest. We fall, we make, we can hurt ourselves. There's a lot of things that happen. The more that you can take care of your body, the easier it is going to be to overcome that fall or that slip or whatever that might be, right? So according to the World Health Organization, there's over 2 billion people worldwide that are overweight. And it's just because we're not treating our bodies like a temple, right? We take care of our cars, we take care of our nice things that we have. These are material things, but yet we refuse to take care of our body. This is just a call out here for number 5, is that we know that our health is the foundation of our lives. Yet we often forget to act accordingly. And that happens, right? So that's why we remind ourselves this principle every day. That's why every day, whether I'm walking, whether like today's a perfect example. I've been working out pretty intensely all week. Today, I went 20 minutes on the Peloton, 20 minutes, and then got off and went and had a cup of coffee. But that's 20 minutes that I want to have if I want to done anything. So, and guess what? I feel better about it. So it doesn't have to be a long hour workout. It doesn't have to be a 2-hour bike ride, whatever it might be, whatever it works for you. Just treat your body as a temple and you're going to be better off for it. So once again, top 5, real quick, real sweet, but make sure you're playing the long game. Have that vision of where you want to go. Avoid analysis paralysis is number 2. Make sure you take action. That'll get you out of that. Number 3, allow mistakes to be your biggest teacher. The obstacle is the way. Conquer your mornings, number 4. And then treat your body like a temple. If you do these things, I guarantee you will have the life that you want tomorrow, right? By working hard, by doing these 5 things, you will get to the point that you'll start showing up a little bit differently tomorrow. So that was quick, that was sweet. Hopefully you are doing well. Hopefully you're out there shoveling snow and seeing it as an exercise. And there's nothing I like better than a true good old-fashioned snowstorm. And it seems like it's dumping a whole lot of it for us here. So hopefully if you're listening to this, maybe you're in Florida, maybe you're in the West Coast or something, enjoying this. We're getting a little bit of snow here, and that just is fitting for this podcast. So take care of you and take care of one another. Cheers.